I want to start this video off with a disclaimer. I absolutely respect Jay 100%. I've looked up to the guy since the inception of this channel. I still do, and much of the work I've done with custom loops in particular has been in part thanks to his tutorials and guidance. And much like myself, Jay's very headstrong and opinionated. I'm sure most of his followers already know that. He isn't afraid to speak his mind, and I think that's what people like about him. I also respect that, but it doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything. In fact, I encourage disagreement to an extent. It promotes healthy discussion and exchange of ideas, something we don't see much of in modern politics. So in this video, I want to respond to Jay's recent tweet regarding corporate mining. I usually don't do these kinds of videos, but I think this one beckons a video from me because I also like to call it like I see it, and I just don't see eye to eye with him here. He said, quote, Z-Mine mining farm, 1,500 GPUs. This is the shit that I will never get behind, condone, endorse, etc. Casual miners making money off of their idle time isn't the problem. These guys are the problem. And here's my problem with that. Now, I get it. We're all frustrated with the current state of graphics cards in both the new and used markets. GTX 1070 still costs what 1080 Ti's did at launch, which is just a bit ridiculous. And even the competitively priced cards that occasionally show up on Amazon and Newegg go out of stock almost as quickly as they show up. So what should we do? Should we blame all miners? Should we just blame the corporations buying in bulk? Who is the real target here? And my response to Jay on Twitter was this. I have mixed opinions, mainly because I don't want to bombard him with 9 tweets in a row. He doesn't follow me, I don't want that. And also because I think it's a difficult topic to discuss or surmise in a single tweet. Jay immediately resorted to bashing large corporations, right? The easy scapegoat, responsible for bulk graphics card purchases, which we know is happening, and saving face with the little guys, you and me, right? With a brief disclaimer about how casual miners are not really the problem. But I find this slightly inconsistent. Why blame only the large companies? They're the easy scapegoat, and I feel like people do this all the time without thinking about it. If the goal in the end is the same, which by the way is to make money, why should it matter who is doing it or in what quantity? Here's how I see it. If we're going to be consistent when playing the blame game, we've got to make sure that all parties involved are at least mentioned or called out. If one person steals $50 from a purse and another steals 50,000 from a bank, should we only blame the bank thief? I'm using this rather extreme example on purpose because it seems as though some of you feel robbed, like your precious graphics cards were manufactured only for gaming with a strict agreement attached, and that is simply not true. Look, I want graphics cards for everyone. I'm certainly pro graphics cards if you want to call it that, but I don't want to profess my pro gamer stance because I don't think that it should exist. Gamers aren't entitled to graphics cards any more so than the casual or professional miner. It sounds harsh, and I know that most of my viewers are avid gamers. I respect that, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You aren't special in the eyes of NVIDIA nor AMD. You're just another customer. And at the end of the day, as long as the sales quotas are met, Papa Green and Mama Red are perfectly satisfied. In fact, these two peeps are more interested in their shareholders than they are in you. So, Jay, we aren't entitled to anything as gamers. Now, I know that you know this. You're like, come on, Greg, you're just grandstanding. But when you word it like this, Jay, it sounds as though you don't. By the way, I don't mind, I've never mind, and I never will. It's also just as hard for me to get graphics cards, let alone for free. Now, I'd find it very distasteful for a reviewer of mine with a bunch of graphics cards he or she did receive for free, but then again, it wouldn't be illegal for them to do so. And the same goes for these large mining companies that Jay's targeting here. Sure, you can be upset, you can even publicize it, publicize your discontent the same way Jay did, but you can't call them the problem, not unless you're prepared to call all miners the problem to some extent. They want profits, just like the average Joe who mines with a single RX 480 does. In fact, I'd argue that the manufacturers are more at fault here than the consumers. So let's shift to that for a second. Consumers are just doing what consumers are allowed to do. But if NVIDIA or AMD cared that much about their gamers, they'd eliminate bulk purchase options for unaffiliated businesses and find other ways to ensure that cards went into gamers' hands only, which I think is what many are asking for, but I don't really agree with. So in closing, I disagree with Jay when he says that larger mining farms are the problem. They're not doing anything illegal or even unethical, they're just buying cards. I'm certainly not taking their side and shunning gamers, I think that's ridiculous, but I'm not gonna blame them. I think that they're more or less the effect, not really the cause. The way I see it, you have to blame the big box manufacturers. They are the source. They could have chosen to withhold bulk stock from these companies, but they did not, because much like mining farms in question, manufacturers miners care about profits too, arguably more so than they care about the little man, you and I. With that, if you agree with me, you can thumb it up. If you disagree, you can thumb it down. You can complain in the comments, tell me how wrong I am, but at least you know my stance. I'm not anti-gamer. Yes, it sucks, I get it, but I don't think that the solution is to blame miners or ban miners or whatever you guys are trying to propose in the background. With that, I will prepare for the minefield that will be the comments in this video. If you want to subscribe, you can do that. I'd appreciate that. We do many things other than just talk in these videos. This is just something I wanted to get off my chest because it has been bothering me for quite some time. This is Science Studio. Thanks for chatting with us.